Heading into September of 2011, the postseason landscape looked quite clear.
The Red Sox have certainly flexed their muscles so far this season. They're in first place.
Teams seemingly had leads too big to lose.
The Braves come into tonight's ballgame in very good shape in the wild card. They're up 9 over the Cardinals.
Others had hills too high to climb.
The Rays 9 games out on September 3rd. No team has overcome that many games in September to get into the postseason.
But baseball is rarely that simple.
Got it, and it's a win for St. Louis. 4.5 games out now in the wild card.
As the month rolled on, the wild card races became just that.
Line drive, base hit into center. Jennings scores, and the Rays win in 11.
Pennant races that we thought may have been a dead deal are suddenly reinvigorated here by some very hot teams.
And those teams were starting to defy the odds in the blink of an eye.
Swing and a miss, and the Cardinals have pulled within 1 game.
Others saw their playoff promise start to slip away.
Red Sox had a 7-game lead a week ago. It's down to 2.
It feels like every night is painful.
It all came down to a collision course on the final night of the regular season.
This is Heart Attack City. This is down to the wire.
8 teams, 4 games, 1 night.
An unprecedented night. 2 wild card ties after 161 games.
And what took place that night did more than captivate fans, command the sports television spotlight,
Intensity, emotion, excitement.
and set the social network all a-Twitter.
Can you believe this last day of the regular season?
It produced one of the most memorable and compelling nights in the history of the game. Scott's and Taco Bell present Game 162. The final scheduled day of the 2011 regular season witnessed the perfect playoff storm. For the wild card had yet to be decided in either league, and 4 games would have a role in shaping the final slots.
This story has a chapter yet to be written. It's the 162nd chapter, and just like last year, the Braves are in a position where they got to go out and win tonight.
To go through this Red Sox game tonight, what it means, the playoff atmosphere, what might be tomorrow, and where this team is in game 162.
Tampa's beating the Yankees tonight, and you know it, and I know it.
Does it get much more exciting than this? Win or go home time for the St. Louis Cardinals, who play later on tonight in Houston.
Red Sox and Rays, Braves and Cardinals. Tom, this is baseball history. It's happening in front of us. It's about to happen now.
It's awesome. This is, I think, I'll give you game 7 of a postseason series. Other than that, I think it's the best night of the year.
There had not been a day or night in baseball like this. If you follow the timeline straight down, it really is incredible. I don't think that a scriptwriter could have built the tension for the final day of the regular season any better.
You know, I've never really been in this situation where it came down to the last day. Teams don't know where they're going. Teams don't know who they're playing.
It's do or die, baby. This is why you love Major League Baseball. 162 game and a possible 163rd game if both teams win.
When you have both leagues that are coming down to the final day to decide the final wild card spot, this is awesome.
Atlanta's 9-17 September record to date had put them in a perilous position, but a win over the Phillies would keep them alive.
Definitely a great night to be a baseball fan, not just for the players, but for the fans as well. You know, everything's kind of coming to a culmination, and there's a lot on the line.
In Houston, the Astros were hosting the resurgent Cardinals, who had erased a 10-game deficit and were now tied with the Braves for the wild card.
Going into the final day knowing that, we needed to win was what my scenario was. Hopefully give ourselves an opportunity to at least get one more game.
The Tampa Bay Rays had mirrored the Cardinals' comeback, coming from 9 games down to pull even with Boston for the AL wild card. On this night, they would have to beat the Yankees.
I'm worried about one thing, celebrating. That's the only thing that's on our mind right now. We're not really planning on losing.
And in Baltimore, the Red Sox sought to beat the O's and stave off a September swoon of historic proportions.
We had played ourselves into a position where we had to win or we go home, or at least, maybe play another playoff game against Tampa.
As if that wasn't enough, there were 4 more games involving teams that had already clinched a postseason berth, but had yet to secure the home field advantage. Incredibly, After 161 games, no playoff matchups were set.
I think Yogi said it best. It's not over till it's over. And obviously, with game 162 all-around baseball in both leagues, that 162nd game was huge.
Tim Hudson winding, and the first pitch of the game, swing and a miss.
Simone ready, and the first pitch is in there for strike one, or underway.
And the first pitch is a strike call. We are underway.
With their game being played in Houston, the Cardinals would not get going for another hour. But in Atlanta, the Phillies struck early to aid the St. Louis cause.
Down the left field line and fair and into the corner. Pence on his way to third.
The Phillies' 1-0 lead put the Braves' win expectancy, or chances of winning based on the current game situation, at 41%. And as you'll see, it's something that can fluctuate during a crazy night of baseball. A couple of minutes later, Tampa Bay also fell into an early hole.
And it's bobbled by Zobrist. Granderson's going to try to score. The throw's cut off.
Now the Rays also trailed by a run. This was good news for the Red Sox, for John Lester was off to a strong start.
That's in there for strike three.
Back in Atlanta, the Braves were determined to come back from their early deficit.
For them to go up one run, it's not going to get our spirits down. You know, we've got to battle, scratch and claw, and do everything we can to get back in the game.
There's the catch. Bourne tags. The throw to the plate is going to be way late. A sac fly for Chipper ties the game at 1.
The game was scoreless in Baltimore when Dustin Pedroia came up in the top of the third.
Pedroia back up the middle into center field, a base hit.
Aviles turns third, heads for home. He will score easily. Red Sox take a 1-0 lead.
And you had to know that Boston was already keeping an eye on the Rays.
From our dugout, the scoreboard, you're looking right at it. So it's hard not to see. And certainly, you know, our livelihood depends on not only our game, but their game also.
And they sure had to like the crooked number they were seeing.
See ya! A grand slam, Mark Teixeira.
When Teixeira hit that grand slam, definitely took the air out of us a little bit.
A devastating blow for the Rays as the Yankees lead 5-0.
When they got down 5-0 in the second inning, there were a lot of people wondering if their run had come to an end.
There's a reason to cry in your St. Pete Dome towel.
I think the Red Sox have to feel real good.
Tampa would have to mount a major comeback. And in Atlanta, the Braves were about to force the Phillies' hand, thanks to Dan Uggla.
Swinging a high fly ball, deep to left center field, back toward the wall. That ball's gone for Dan Uggla. And it's 3-1 Braves.
Knowing you just put your team on top and put us in a position to win the game and extend our season, you know, just to see the look on the faces of all my teammates and the excitement that was around, and hearing all the fans scream and yell. It was a great feeling.
Although Baltimore did not have a dog in this playoff hunt, they had no intention of going quietly into the night.
It could have been real easy for us to just show up that last game and just say, hey, you know what, let's just get this game over with. But that didn't happen. We came, we showed up ready to play and ready to win like we were going to the playoffs.
With the wild card madness in full swing, 2 games that would determine home field advantage joined the fray.
And we are underway.
When the game in Houston finally got started, the Cardinals already knew that Atlanta was winning, and that the odds were they would need a victory to keep their wild card hopes alive.
This is a dream game or a nightmare game. If you're afraid to cross the white lines, well, it'll come out tonight for sure because there's no place to hide.
Ready for the first pitch, and here it comes. And a strike called in this game is underway.
We now return to game 162. The night's showdowns were underway, and some teams were making a lot of noise.
Let's go to St. Petersburg right now. Again, bases are loaded from Mark Teixeira.
There it goes! See ya! A grand
Teixeira.
Well, this one way back. That's headed to the bleachers. Gone!
Wow, a big shot. Dan Uggla, tremendous, and the Braves had the lead.
There's a deep drive to left.
And J.J. Hardy hits the home run. Orioles have the 2-1 lead. They're not out of the woods.
Is this great or what? We talked about early runs. Settle in, people.
Meanwhile, in Houston, the Cardinals were continuing their late-season surge.
An infield for John Jay, and that's how this one starts.
We understood that to get in the playoffs, we had to do our jobs. We ran some hits together, one after another.
Through the hole into left field, and another hit for the Cardinals.
Albert Pujols then did his part to ensure he'd have still another game in a Cardinals uniform.
And this is over the head of the left fielder Martinez, and John Jay will score 1-0 St. Louis. Another hit for Berkman, and it's 2-0 Cardinals. Pujols is headed to third, and he is safe at third.
In those games where it's win or go home, to jump out to an early lead and get that confidence going early and, get those good vibes rolling, I think was big for our team.
Here's a shot to deep left. They have come out pumping tonight, baby.
We tried to do what we could do and what we were capable of. And, you do that as a team, special things can happen.
Chris Carpenter hasn't thrown a pitch yet and leads 4-0.
Line drive, base hit to left for Punto. And the Cardinals lead it 5-0.
There's always a good feeling when you have a 5-0 lead in the first before you take the mound.
Both wild card contenders in the American League are losing early, and in the National League, they're leading. The Cardinals with a big early lead.
We had to go out there and do our job to give ourselves a chance.
Swing and a miss, struck him out after one. Cardinals 5, Houston 0.
You take a lackadaisical mindset, you're going to turn around and get bit.
Back in Florida, the Rays were facing a Yankees team with nothing to lose in the standings and paying the price.
Teixeira may have another one here. See ya! Back-to-back home runs from Mark Teixeira.
David wasn't on top of his game that night, and of course, look at the Yankee lineup. They could do that to any pitch on any given night.
Boy, David Price has not come up big for his team in a big spot.
I knew what was going on by the scoreboard.
David Price still pitching for the Rays, trailing the Yankees 5-0 in the top of the fourth.
But most of our energy, if not all of it, was going towards our game because, again, that's what you can control.
Here's a drive to left for Pedroia. Reimel going back, and that is out of the yard. Dustin Pedroia willing his way to the postseason as the Red Sox take a 3-2 lead.
Though early, Boston appeared to have the inside track, especially with the Rays in desperate straits.
In the dugout, these auxiliary scoreboards are right in your face, so I was very much in tune with that.
But it was a balancing act for us as far as, really trying not to worry about what the Red Sox were doing and really trying to stay focused on what we needed to accomplish.
Anderson back on the track will make the play.
While the Rays struggled to put a run on the board, the Braves' Tim Hudson was holding the Phillies in check, maintaining a 3-1 lead.
Wilson across the bag, double play.
You have to strike early. Once he settles in, he finds his groove. He's always going to give his team a chance to win.
You bet he did. Hudson's through 6 with the lead.
All right, while you're watching things in Atlanta, there's Andrew Jones against the Rays, and Andrew Jones hits another home run for the Yankees.
7-0, I'm thinking save the bullpen. Save the bullpen, Red Sox, please lose.
The odds are certainly not in the favor of the Rays at that point.
The Red Sox have a 3-2 lead. Rays could use some help tonight.
A 3-2 deficit was a lot more hopeful than a 7-0 deficit. We knew the odds were way against us. We knew the odds were against Baltimore at that point.
Guerrero hits it on the ground. Scudero's got it. He'll flip with his glove to Pedroia for 1. On to first for 2. What a play. That may be the one that puts the Red Sox into the postseason.
It's tough to not have those sorts of thoughts. I mean, obviously, it's the 5th inning of a Major League Baseball game, and you're down 7 runs. The challenge was to remain positive.
In Atlanta, shortstop Jack Wilson opened the door for the Phillies with an out-of-character play.
Jack Wilson doesn't make very many mistakes. He's a tremendous defensive guy.
Double play ball, but it's off the chest of Wilson. And it's 3-2 Atlanta.
it was a play that that usually he makes all the time. And it just so happens that he made a mistake, and that definitely led to us scoring a run.
Here's, one of the most sure-handed fielders in a game and not able to make a play. It's almost like when you see something bad happen.
So that's going to end the night for Tim Hudson.
And I think that might be some of the thoughts that Atlanta was having at that time.
They understand how big that play is. Momentum stops, opens up the floodgates, and whichever team grabs it first is usually the team that wins.
And it's ball 4 to load the bases.
But the best bullpen in the majors would leave those bases full of Phillies in the 8th, buoying the Braves' playoff hopes.
Struck him out. The Braves bench celebrates 3-2 in the 8th.
Atlanta was clinging to a 1-run lead. In Houston, Chris Carpenter had much more to work with.
Chris Carpenter now has 9 strikeouts working here in the 7th.
Back in Baltimore, the Red Sox were 9 outs away from a win. But there was one element they could not control.
We've seen flashes of lightning here in Baltimore over the last couple of minutes, and it has just started to rain.
It's very interesting, the drama of that game. The Orioles certainly made it dramatic, but the weather turned out to be a part of the drama as well.
The Red Sox will now have to sit through a delay with the 3-2 lead.
The Yankees are ahead of Tampa Bay 7-0. We are heading for the bottom of the 7th inning here. Red Sox have a 3-2 lead. If these two scores held up, there would be no game 163 tomorrow.
We now return to game 162.
We're honing in on the 4 games that matter. And guys, we've seen some amazing performances. Mark Teixeira coming through.
Back-to-back home runs from Mark Teixeira.
How about Tim Hudson, gutsy performance? Chris Carpenter.
Swung on and missed.
Let's go to Atlanta. Top of the 9th.
Braves up 3-2. They go to the pen.
The Braves season is riding on the right arm of Craig Kimbrell.
Looking for his 47th save.
Kimbrell with 2 blown saves in September.
But for the year, he's got good numbers against the Phillies.
Man, pretty much close out every single game that needs to be closed. And you really look forward to a challenge when a guy throws that hard.
Line drive, Polanco into right field, a leadoff single. What was the word you used about the Phillies?
Relentless. They're not going to make it easy for you.
It got down to the point as it went on in the game, as long as the game stayed close, either team had a chance.
Base on balls. First and second, 1 out.
Kimbrell just walked Francisco.
Wow.
It is 3-2
drama.
All the Braves needed were 2 more outs. Meanwhile, rain continued to delay the Baltimore-Boston game, so the Red Sox focused on the game in Tampa, which appeared well in hand.
We got rain delayed, and the Rays are down 7-0 to the Yankees, so we're feeling pretty good about ourselves.
Keeping an eye on that situation there in Tampa. What do you think the odds are that the Rays rally in this game?
I think the Rays are not going to win tonight. I think that the one thing that we have eliminated tonight is the Red Sox season is not going to end tonight. The Rays aren't going to come back from 7-0.
On we go from Tropicana Field. We head into the bottom of the 8th. And the one thing I've learned over the last few years following this club is that you can't count them out.
6 more outs for the Rays. They have to make up a 7-0 deficit.
Johnny Damon will lead off.
We knew the odds were way against us. One thing you learn in baseball is you never know what's going to happen, so that we always had that little bit of hope back there.
Damon with a little looper, and that ball is going to fall for a base hit. The Rays have their 3rd hit.
We've done it before. We've come back before. You know our guys don't quit. We had to just keep grinding through the moment.
He lines one into left, and that one falls in.
Damon goes to 3rd, Silvers for the double.
And the Rays have a little life here in the 8th. When things started to happen there, I think hope started to reappear. And Casey Kochman hit on the hand. The bases are going to be loaded.
And while Tampa was displaying signs of life, Kimbrell and the Braves were watching their hopes take a hit.
21 high-stress pitches in this inning.
I think it was a ball game, and we're trying to win that game. And so for him to have some command issues, it helped us out.
And he lost Jimmy Rollins to load the bases.
We were going to play the ball game respectable, not going to roll over and just let anybody win. You had to earn it.
Kimbrel's given up a single and 2 walks. And now you've got to face Utley with the bases loaded, 1 out.
We were patient up there. We worked some counts. We got some guys on. And, things just happened to go our way.
Fly ball toward left. That's going to be deep enough. Or tags. He's going to come home and score to tie this game 3-3.
Craig Kimbrel just blew his 8th save of the season, the biggest save of the year.
The game is still tied. Your main objective right now is keep this at 3-3.
Definite buzz in this ballpark.
Clearly, they're aware of what's going on in Atlanta. When Philly tied it up 3-3, I looked over our dugout, and there were Cardinal fans saying that the Phillies just tied it up. They're jacked up, and that gave us a little extra push.
The Cardinals have scored 7 runs on 10 hits tonight. They're rolling along.
Carpenter's just been mowing down Astros.
Just had everything working that day. Just throwing all his pitches for strikes, and he just had amazing command and just breezed through that game like it wasn't a lot of pressure on him.
Swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt.
Strikeout number 11 for Carpenter ends the 8th inning.
The Cardinals lead the Astros 7-0.
St. Louis had a comfortable margin, but Atlanta had lost its lead in the 9th and came up empty in the bottom half.
And Stutz works a perfect bottom of the 9th inning. Free baseball in Atlanta.
I don't think anybody wants to go extra innings because you never know how long it's going to last and what it's going to do to your pitching staff. But you try and win that game and try and be fair for all clubs involved.
We were there to win a ball game, and you have to play 27 outs. And if you need more, then you play more.
So while it now was a tie game in Atlanta, the Rays were simply trying to make a game of it.
Yankees lead 7-0.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Ayala, the righty, fold the lefty.
This crowd, they've been waiting for something to cheer about, making some noise now.
The challenge was continuing to believe that, if we get a couple runs, we can get back in the game.
And he walked him to forcing a run. So the Rays are on the board. They have hope. It's now 7-1 Yankees.
They walked a run in, Dan. I told you.
I know I shouldn't say those things.
Over.
I'm still not nervous.
Bases loaded, nobody out. The Rays making a run at it.
The 1-2 pitch, and he's hit.
That ball gets Sean Rodriguez right in the stomach.
Now it's 7-2 Yankees.
The Rays were showing their trademark resolve, while the Cardinals continued to soar.
Here's a fly ball deep to right field. This has a chance. Get up, baby. Get up.
Out of here. Home run number 11 for Craig.
So it's 8-0 Cardinals back to St. Petersburg. The Rays trying to come back here in the bottom of the 8th.
3-2, here it is, and a swing and a miss.
A big strikeout for Ayala to finally ring up 1 out in this inning.
You know who's up next? B.J. Upton.
And a shot back into left field. Jones will make the catch. Topsman's going to score.
We put a couple of runs on the board and start to get some momentum going back in our favor.
He just missed that ball.
It's a sac fly for Upton. It's now 7-3.
Before you know it, the Rays had 3 on the board with a couple men on, and with Longoria due up, there began a feeling that something good might happen.
We now return to game 162.
And the Rays have a little life here in the 8th. 3-run inning. Evan Longoria will bat.
The Yankees had not blown a 7-run lead in the 8th inning or later in almost half a century. So it came down to history versus the Rays' best slugger.
These kind of situations, the ones that Evan was made for.
And I was really just thinking, here's our opportunity to really gain some momentum.
This crowd, they've been waiting for something to cheer about.
This whole world is about momentum. Whenever momentum shifts back to you, you feel like anything could possibly happen.
You know the Boston Red Sox are in that clubhouse at Camden Yards as the rain falls, and they are biting their nails right now as the Rays are mounting this comeback.
We couldn't control what happened in Tampa. But if we win our game, the worst thing that happens is we go and play another game the next day.
Can you imagine if we look back at this and see they went to the rain delay up 3-2, and the Yankees were winning 7-0, and when the end of the night that is totally flipped around, that would be one of the most unbelievable stories, I think, in recent Red Sox memory.
Now Longoria, pulled at second, Rodriguez at first.
When I was a second, we were, 7-3, but still to win wasn't too realistic at that point. And then with one swing, it just...
I can see the windup, and I see the pitch coming. It's in a good spot for Longo. He did not miss it.
Hole drive! Deep to left! Gone! Longoria hits a long one. A 3-run shot. And now it's a 1-run ball game.
When Longoria hit that home run, you could tell the atmosphere in the park among Rays fans really changed. They recognized that something magical could happen here.
7-6 ball game. How about that, folks?
It was a hopeless situation, and then in a matter of minutes, we were down by 1 run.
The Rays have picked themselves right up off the mat here in the 8th inning.
I really believe at that point, everybody on our bench, everybody in our dugout believed we were going to win the game that night.
That inning gave us the momentum. You have a better feeling going into the 9th, only down 1 run.
In Houston, the Cardinals were 1 out away from extending their season for at least another day, thanks to a brilliant performance by the NL leader in innings pitched.
When you have a guy like Carpenter, you can count on him. He's the kind of guy that when you put him in a spot like that, he wants to shine, and he loves the challenge.
The 1-2 from Carpenter. Ground ball back to Chris. He's got it. He flips to first. A shutout for Chris Carpenter. 11 strikeouts on the night.
And they will now watch the scoreboard.
Now it's up to Atlanta. If Atlanta can't beat Philadelphia, it's tied there. And then the Cardinals have clinched the wild card right now.
It's something I'll never forget is just coming in the clubhouse after a great win. I'm just huddling around in the kitchen, watching the game. Guys in the clubhouse watching the game, and we just didn't take our eyes off that Atlanta-Philly game.
Everybody was watching. The whole baseball world was watching. Not only the players, the fans, the broadcasters, everything was televised.
The things that were developing throughout baseball, American League, National League, no matter what situation it was amazing.
It was like watching the World Series or the Super Bowl. I mean, everybody was tuned to the television sets.
With the Cards looking on, the Braves tried desperately to force a 1-game playoff against them for the wild card. And their veteran leader, Chipper Jones, had that chance.
Mayberry will hold Bourne at first. And now the 3-2 pitch, runner goes. There's a shot. Given to left center. Martinez on the run, all the way to the track. He makes the play. What a catch. My goodness. And Schwimmer lives to tell the tale in the 10th. We go to the 11th.
And in the meantime, we are 3 outs away in the Yankees and the Rays. In the bottom of the 9th, Tampa scoring 6 runs in the 8th. We'll see if they have anything left in the tank.
Can the Rays complete their comeback in the bottom of the 9th inning?
Corey Wade has never had a save in the major leagues.
It'd be a big save.
2-2, a little tapper toward third. Chavez up with it, throw to first is in time.
And the Rays are down to their final out.
Dan Johnson emerges from the dugout.
When Dan Johnson was announced as a pinch hitter and came to the plate, the one thing you're thinking, this guy has some power. If he finds one in his groove, he has a chance to hit it out.
Dan Johnson, who had a great year for him the year before and had some huge hits, had struggled in the year 2011.
Indeed, Tampa's last hope to keep destiny in its hands rested with a 108 batter who was 0 for 20 since April.
2 out, nobody on, and then here's Corey Wade pitching with a great changeup, and I don't like that matchup.
And the first pitch to Johnson is a strike.
The thing about DJ, he's got ice water. He's definitely an ice water guy. I felt good about knowing that he's not going to be intimidated by the moment.
And the Rays are down to their final strike. They scored 6 in the 8th. Do they have more in them? Can they continue their season? All of New England waits, holding its breath.
We're in a rain delay at Camden Yards in the 7th inning, with the tarp is coming off. So it looks like we will resume the game coming soon.
2-2, 2 outs, base is empty.
You guys were deflated down to our last strike, hanging over the rail, just hoping that something would happen.
The 2-2.
Just one swing of the bat changed it.
Driven deep to right field. Fair ball, it's tied. It's tied. Oh, what a home run for Dan Johnson. And the Rays are alive. They've tied the game at 7.
And the Rays keep their hopes
highly improbable, to say the least.
Can you imagine the people of Red Sox Nation, their game's in a rain delay. They thought this was a sure thing, and it's been taken away. A furious rally by the Rays.
So after about an hour and a half of rain delay, we are ready to resume.
That was an awful feeling. Right when I was getting ready to leave the office to go out to the field, Dan Johnson hooked it around the right field foul line. So it was like somebody kind of kicked you in the stomach.
A 3-2 Red Sox lead, bottom of the 7th inning. And during the rain delay, the baseball gods are just playing with everybody's mind tonight.
We now return to game 162. While 4 teams continue to fight for a wild card berth, others were simply jockeying for playoff position.
Jose Valverde trying to protect a 1-run lead.
The Tigers look to knock off Cleveland for a shot at home field advantage in the division series.
Swung on and missed. A strikeout. And the Tigers still have hopes of opening up at home.
But those hopes were soon dealt a blow in Anaheim when the Rangers' Mike Napoli went deep.
Down the left field line. Is it fair? It is gone. And the Rangers lead it 3-1.
And Neftali Feliz made certain that Texas would open at home.
He struck him out swinging. And the Rangers have clinched home field in the American League Division Series.
Milwaukee gained the same advantage in the National League.
Struck him out looking. And the Brewers are staying put. Brewers move on to host Game 1 of the Divisional Series as National League Central Division champs and await their opponent.
More specifically, they needed to see who won the Atlanta game, where the Braves were threatening.
They're on their feet in Atlanta. Bottom of the 12th, 3-3 the score. Martin Prado at the plate. The winning run is 90 feet away, folks.
Martin had been the spark plug for the Braves all year. He was such a catalyst for the ball club. So with a bat in his hands, you're thinking to yourself, this is the opportunity right here. This is the guy you want at the plate.
The bottom of the 12th inning of a 3-3 game that the Braves must win. And the 2-2 from DeFreitas. Broken bat ground ball left side. Picked up by Valdez. Throws to first and got him to retire the side.
DeFreitas breaks Martin Prado's bat and sends this game to the 13th inning.
By now, the game had resumed in Baltimore, where the Red Sox were looking to add a little insurance to their lead over the O's.
Sox clinging to a 3-2 lead over the Baltimore Orioles, knowing that the Rays have come back from 7-0 down to tie the Yankees.
1 out, 1 on as the Red Sox bat here in the top half of the 8th. Here is Kyle Crawford, 0 for 3 in the game, 1 for 12 in the series. Runner goes, Crawford swings it, sends it towards the gap in left center field.
Diving in left and not getting it is Reimold. To third goes Scudero. He's now going to be waved around. The throw from Hardy at short left, and Scudero will be out! Unbelievable as J.J. Hardy throws out Scudero at the plate to keep this a 1-run game.
The playoff atmosphere is in full bloom.
And what a tremendous relay there by the Baltimore Orioles. Everything was on target.
The unbelievability continues.
In St. Petersburg, Scott Proctor facing Johnny Damon. Ahead in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here, and if there's a ball in the gap, B.J. Upton can fly, could end the game.
Swing and a miss. Damon out on strikes.
So it was on to the 11th, with the game still tied at 7. The Cardinals had done their part and now focused on the game in Atlanta.
Most of the team was in the cafeteria, eating room, watching it.
There were guys in the clubhouse watching the game, and, we just didn't take our eyes off that Atlanta-Philly game, just because our fate was in their hands.
There are runners at the corners with 2 out as Pence settles into the right-hand batter's box.
Don't you think Hunter Pence would be tired by now? Want to take the rest of the night off?
Hunter's one of those guys that he goes up there, he's hacking.
Fouled on the play.
Here's a chance for him to, get the big hit. You just know he's going to battle. He's going to do what he can and try and get that run home.
2-2 coming. Swinging a bloop right side toward the hole. It trickles into the outfield grass.
And the Phillies have taken the lead on a bloop infield hit
by Hunter Pence.
You know, that's the way it goes. The Braves had a very tough last month, and those type of things go against you when things just aren't going your way.
The Phillies take the lead on the most innocent of bloops to the right side.
It's been an exciting September, I think, for us and for all Cardinal Nation. It's just been incredible that we're in this position. Phillies got a one-run lead, and you know, we're getting closer. So this is getting exciting.
For the moment, St. Louis leads the wild card race. The Braves have to win this game if they're to force a one-game playoff tomorrow night.
We were playing to win. We knew we had to win that game in order to extend our season. You know, we've got to battle, scratch and claw, and do everything we can.
All hands on deck for Atlanta in the bottom of the 13th inning. The Phillies have the lead 4-3.
Well, they'll turn this one over to David Herndon out of Braves country, family down in Panama City. He's a big, hard-throwing right-hander.
For Herndon, you know, it's a thrill for him, probably a lot of pressure on him, you know, wanting to nail down his first save.
To be in that situation was awesome. I don't know that I've ever had that many butterflies, even opening day.
Atlanta has the right guys up. Jones, Uggla, Freeman in inning number 13.
To come in there and the leadoff guy was Chipper Jones. You know, I really knew I had to be on top of my game.
Herndon fires the 2-2, and he struck him out. Foul tipped into the mid, one man gone.
And I got ahead on Uggla, but I ended up walking him.
Excellent at bat by Uggla.
And the Braves come up with a big hit in the 13th.
The tying run at first, and here's Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman's coming up to the plate, and you know, chance for double play ball.
Ground ball to first. Up with it, Mayberry into second, got one. Back to first, got him. And this one is over, and the Atlanta Braves have been eliminated, and the St. Louis Cardinals have won the National League wild card.
Eruption took place, and we were ecstatic that we got into the postseason.
It was devastating to see that happen the way that it did on the very last day of the season.
You know, we just didn't get it done tonight, and you know, we're gonna have to sit on this one for a few months.
The St. Louis Cardinals. Wow. The end of August, 10.5 games out of the wild card. 10.5.
You know, we just kept playing hard and kept winning some games, and you know, we're able to see it through.
They came back, and they're in the postseason. This is an amazing story.
You know, what are you gonna do? The Cardinals did a hell of a job fighting back from that deficit in the wild card, and you know, sit back and watch those guys play.
Talk about just genuine excitement and you know, feeling like we did it. That's a feeling I'll never forget.
The Cardinals were soaking up the moment, but the champagne was still on ice in Tampa and Baltimore. We now return to game 162. So the Braves season was over, victims of the Cardinals' amazing September surge. But the American League wildcard race had yet to be decided.
This could be a huge insurance run for the Red Sox.
And he swings, grounds it weakly to the shortstop. Here's the flip to second, out on to first. They get a double play, and the Red Sox don't score. First and third, nobody out situation, and they don't score. So we go to the bottom of the ninth. Boston 3, Baltimore 2.
And a little pop to the right side. Pena makes the catch.
It is still 7-7 through 11. Wow. Never-ending game.
Bottom of the ninth inning, 3-2. Jonathan Papelbon in.
Pap has been in that situation time after time after time. As a manager, you hand him the ball and you feel comfortable.
Where would this team be without Jonathan Papelbon?
They wouldn't be here, and they wouldn't be here the last few years.
He is 31 out of 33 in save opportunities. Swing and a miss. Papelbon strikes him out. One down in the ninth.
I felt good. I felt really good, actually. Felt confident, and I felt really, really good.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. A high fastball blows him away. 2 men out in the ninth inning.
The Yankees are set up first and third and nobody out.
This is amazing. The Rays could be trailing while the Red Sox are so close to winning this game.
And a ground ball to third. And now Golson's going to be tagged.
Are you kidding?
They're the luckiest team in baseball.
So let's check in on the Red Sox.
Pap trying to put it away.
We got 2 quick outs, but 26 outs, it's not 27. The hardest out to get is that final one.
2 down, ninth inning. Chris Davis.
Davis knew that Pebble Bond is an aggressive pitcher. He'd probably try to get ahead with his fastball. And Davis is a fastball hitter, so he just jumped on the first pitch, put a good swing on it.
In the air to right field. That's into the corner. That will be a base hit. He's going to try for two. Here's the relay. Not in time. The Orioles are still alive.
Back to the action in St. Petersburg.
And a little chop to second. Zobrist makes the throw to first. Rays get out of that jam.
Kyle Hudson is the pinch runner. Nolan Reimold at the plate. Can the O's tie it with 2 outs in the 9th inning?
I knew it was a big at-bat, obviously, and, I got up there. I just wanted to fight and claw and keep the inning alive.
Orioles down to their last strike.
Season perhaps hanging in the balance. He kicks and he deals.
Right over the air, right center field. Nobody's going to catch it. That'll go up and over. Oh, get out of here! Double. I have tied this game up. Are you kidding me?
Reimold into second base, and Papelbon blows the save.
Talk about a huge hit for the Red Sox nation.
Rays fan just getting the word here that Nolan Reimold has tied the game for the Baltimore Orioles.
If nothing's going on in your game and all of a sudden you hear a buzz among the crowd, you know that it was in our favor and against Boston.
Nolan Reimold at second base represents the winning run.
Here's Andino, who's 0 for 4.
I just try to soak it in, relax, breathe, and just try to settle down and put the bat on the ball, just try to put it in play, see what happens.
Now a base hit, and the Orioles can win it.
Andino to left field, in comes Crawford.
I was saying to myself, drop, drop, drop.
Line drive left field. Here comes Crawford.
Drop! The Orioles coming to the plate, Reimold! They did it! They did it! They did it! The Orioles have beat the Red Sox!
It was awesome. Jumping around like we just went to the playoffs.
2 runs! Bottom of the 9th inning!
The Red Sox lose in a crucial 162nd game of the year. And now they must wait and see what happens in Tropicana Field in St. Pete.
And the Red Sox just lost. That's the cheer you hear from the crowd. It'll go up on the board in a moment. Everybody's probably from their PDA. Now it goes up and the crowd goes nuts.
All Tampa needed now was a win, and they were in. And up to the plate came the man who had already gone deep.
I really thought to myself, Longo, please end it right here. Proctor was struggling with his health at that point, and I knew our bullpen was running thinner, so it was important to end it right there.
And now they're a run away from going to the playoffs.
I had faced Proctor like a week before or something, and I remember he threw me a lot of fastballs, so that's really all I was looking for. And I just remember I got one up in the zone, the one that I hit.
That one's drilled deep to left field.
My immediate thought was, is it going to stay fair?
I knew it was fair enough. I was pretty sure it was high enough.
Down the left field line. That ball is gone. And the Rays win it.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh, my God.
It's an 8-7 final on Longoria's second home run of the night.
It's just hard to remember because so many things happen in such a short amount of time. But the feeling of it going over the fence, it was a great feeling.
Moments after, Baltimore comes back to beat the Red Sox. The Rays win it on the home run by Longoria. How about that for a finish?
You have got to be kidding me. Tampa Bay has just beaten the Yankees 8-7.
I was actually out talking to the media, and I heard some groans in the clubhouse, so I knew what had happened.
Going into the clubhouse and celebrating, it was so enjoyable and memorable, and at the same time also hard to grasp. Man, when I saw it clear the fence, it didn't seem real.
What's your reaction to this loss and the way this season ended?
I think it all happened so quick, kind of snowballed and just happened so fast that it was kind of hard to take in. How am I supposed to answer
what your feelings were?
It feels awesome. Everybody in this clubhouse had a part of it.
We can't sugarcoat this. This is awful. Shouldn't have been this way.
You go from the agony to the ecstasy within a matter of a couple hours, and now all of a sudden you're celebrating, although it's like you can't believe you're actually doing that.
It was one of the most spine-tingling nights the grand old game had ever seen. And the drama reverberated with fans in all walks of life. Fans who shared their excitement with the world.
Major League Baseball could not have had a a better finish in both leagues.
I'm shaking my head because I think it might have been the single most intriguing, exciting night of baseball.
It was amazing. I think it made some fans that were not baseball fans to begin with turn into baseball fans.
Is anybody watching this? This can't be happening. As you're getting ready to send out a tweet, you flip the channel and you see somebody getting a home run.
Home run! A home run! The Rays are going to the playoffs! A walk-off home run by Evan Longoria!
It is, or was, the best night in the history of Major League Baseball, and to be part of it on the positive side is incredible.
Write down the date, September 28th, and remember it. The greatest day of baseball.